Hello, good afternoon, everybody. How is it going?
All right, let me see if I can make a little adjustment here. Oh, sorry, that's shaking around. How's everyone doing out there? Oh my goodness, it's been
A few weeks
3 full weeks
since we've been here.
since we have been here doing our Facebook Live. Welcome, everybody. We're happy to be back. We're in our office today. That's why there's all the wood.
Sorry, we're making some adjustments here. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with that. All right. My name is Radlyn Mendoza, and this is my husband and law partner, John Gardner, and we are the founders of Gardner and Mendoza Immigration Law. Our physical location is in Virginia Beach, Virginia, East Coast of the United States, and we represent immigration clients all around the world and in all 50 states. And we come to you almost every Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to answer your immigration questions. So that is what we're doing today. It's been a while since we've been here. It's great to be back. And here in Virginia Beach, we are experiencing some unseasonably
Beautiful
warm weather, but gorgeous. And
Yeah.
we've got our friends.
3 weeks ago, we were in Vermont visiting our daughter, and then we were down in Amelia Island, Florida for a conference, and then in Tallahassee, at least I was, for a college football game, and now we're back. I want to say hi to my mom. I talked to her last night, and I know that she's joining us today. So hi, Mama. Thanks for joining us.
I should say hi to my mom too, just in case.
Yeah,
she's been looking for us. My mom watches from the Philippines, so it's midnight or 1 a.m. there. But anyway, it's great to be back.
And I did want to remind you, Radlyn said at the beginning that, we come here every week almost, and we answer your immigration questions. And that really is what we like to do. But I want to just make sure that everybody is clear and aware that what we do here is for informational and educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not legal advice. All right. So please don't take anything that you gather from this this Facebook Live and act on it based on it being legal advice. It is not legal advice. We're getting snippets of information here. Obviously, if you became our client, we would be digging much, much deeper into all of the facts to make sure that we weren't missing anything. So these are kind of like just, ballpark ideas based on the snippet of information that you're providing for us.
Okay? And immigration information. So
yeah, exactly. And also, hello to all. Did you say hi to all the TikTok folks?
I have not yet.
I was making adjustments at
the
beginning,
guys.
And so I don't know if we did or not. We simulcast with all of our followers over here on TikTok. Radlyn does informational TikToks with immigration information and has over 20,000 followers on TikTok. Nice job.
Ooh.
And so I want
you guys follow so I can have 20,001. I think it's like more than 26,000
on TikTok and get your questions in, and we will try to get to them. Warning again, second warning.
So many warnings in this intro.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm just trying to set the agenda so that it runs more smoothly.
The agenda is very important.
Don't spam the TikTok, because when you spam the TikTok, then we can't get to any of the questions. It's happened before. So if you put your question in, 500 times so that it'll get priority, it actually will just blip off and we won't get to any of them. So we take them in the order they come in and just wait patiently. All right.
All right. So speaking of spamming the comment section with questions, AXI didn't quite spam, but AXI put their question in a couple times. So I'm going to just go ahead and answer it. I think it was one of the very first questions. Ollie, right?
It's the very first question.
Very first question. So we're going to get to that question. And go ahead. Can you go ahead and read that question?
Yeah. So it says, "Hi, I'm from Bangladesh. After approved SIJ I-360, then how long does it take for a green card?"
So it really depends on your priority date, but generally speaking, when we take a look at, so you have to take a look at the visa bulletin. But if you're talking about how long an I-45 application takes, okay, and I'm going to just kind of go through this. We go through this every week. I know that it's really helpful for everyone, so we don't mind doing it. But USCIS in here with Exali, you have to use this in conjunction, do this in conjunction with taking a look at the visa bulletin. So when you have a pending green card application, you can check the processing time of that and any USCIS immigration form simply by Googling USCIS processing time. So it's like number one on my list here because I do this for you guys every week. So USCIS processing times, I'm doing it right now as we speak. You will go to case processing times and click on that, and there will be 3 boxes. The first box is going to say form, and you will, here in this case, you'll click on the I-485, and then the approved form category. So depending on what you're applying for, here we have special immigrant juvenile status. We've got family-based applications. We've got approved U visa, but we'll do the most common one, which is family-based adjustment of status applications. Don't know where that application was filed, but let's just say the application was filed in Buffalo, New York. You go to the next box and pick the field office or the service center where your case is. And here I'm going to just pick Buffalo, New York, and click on the blue box next. And it says get processing times. It takes, and it says 80% of these cases are completed within 12 months. So that's a simple way to kind of give you a general idea of how long your case is going to take. Now, of course, you have to subtract the number of months that it's already been pending, right? So if you filed this 3 months ago, then 80% of these cases are going to be completed within 9 months because you've got to subtract that 3 months. So hopefully that's helpful for you and everyone else who has a processing time question. This is how I check processing times.
Right.
And I do have a video on TikTok about how to do that. And there's a screen share there as well. So
yeah, and just a reminder for those of you who have never joined us on a Facebook Live before, these will all be, all of our Facebook Lives are posted into our Facebook. So if you want to come back and watch this again, you can watch it over again. And, you know, that way you can pause it and start it and pause it and start it, take notes and really figure out what Radlyn just told you. Additionally, Rhea, who is our virtual assistant, who's helping monitor this right now, she posts in the comments the questions that were asked and were answered and at the time that they were asked and answered. So you don't have to just be watching the entire thing. You can look in the comments and figure out, oh, that question about visa processing times took place. I just saw it pop up here at 5:25. Okay, hopefully that's helpful to everybody who's coming back to this later, because I know sometimes when you're hearing something, you think, oh, shoot, I missed it.
Right. Yes. And greetings to all of those who are going to be watching this later.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're just joining us and it's like, you know, November, hello.
Hey. Thanks for joining.
All right. Okay, we got the next question coming over here on TikTok. Creative18 says, is it okay for me to, well, Creative18 says hi first. Hi, Creative18. I shouldn't skip that. Is it okay for me to apply for a tourist visa on behalf of my aunt?
So if your aunt is going to be the one who is receiving the beneficiary of that tourist visa, she is the one that needs to actually apply for it. She's going to have to do that herself. It's all done online. And I think I also saw that Creative18 said they wanted to surprise aunt for Christmas. I don't know what country your aunt is from. Christmas is just in a couple of months, and tourist visa applications and processing are taking a really long time. In some cases, over a year to get an interview. So might be next Christmas.
Christmas 2024. It's going to be a great gift.
What you can do is you can pay for your aunt to go through that process and pay the fee to apply for a tourist visa. But that is a very sweet sentiment.
Yeah, it is. That's cool.
And
I love the creativity. Oh, Creative 18. That's right.
Yes, that's right.
I didn't
puns.
set that up. That just
Yeah, you
happened.
did.
Okay, I did. Okay, you know me too well. All right. Okay. The next question here is a question. What documents, I'm going to add some words to make it cleaner. What
Yeah.
documents would I need to show proof for a U.S. domicile for a sponsor for NVC?
Gotcha.
So for those of you who are not familiar with the legal term, domicile basically means like where you permanently live, your primary place of residence.
Right. Or your intent, where you intend to live, where you're, and I say intent because some people who complete the affidavit of support as a sponsor or, as a sponsor, they don't actually live in the United States. And they might be living, let's just hypothetically say that this person has petitioned for their spouse and they're in their spouse's country living with them because they don't want to be apart, but they're US citizens. They filed an I-130 petition. They now want it. Now we're at the national visa center stage, and say spouse, US citizen spouse and petitioner has been living in their spouse's foreign country for say the past 3 years, because it takes a gosh darn long time to get that that approved, right?
That's a legal expression
Yes.
right there.
A doggone long time. So we don't want to say bad words on the on the live. So let's just say they've been living there for 3 years. They've rented out their primary home in the United States. What are some of the ways that they can prove that they are domiciled in the United States? So certainly ties to the United States. I mean, does your petitioner still have a bank account? Do they still file taxes? Can we write an affidavit that says, hey, we're doing this for a temporary period of time because of this X situation? My home is going to be ready because my tenants are on a month-to-month lease. This is my home. I'm still paying the utility bills, so on and so forth. So
I was just going to say utilities. That's another.
So these are some of the ways that one can show domicile if you're not living in the United States. Now, I'm assuming that this is the case because if you have a US address and you live in the United States, it doesn't really pop up as a question about, what is your domicile and please prove it to us. So hopefully that answers the question and was helpful. All right.
All right, looks like we got all TikTok questions.
All TikTok questions today. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but Just Sweet says hello.
Hello. Oh, joining from YouTube, I see there.
Yeah.
Cool. That's how my mom usually gets on too. Okay. So here's an interesting question from Belky. Deportation in absentia while I was a minor. I have DACA and now married to a permanent resident. What options do I have?
Too risky. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Is it too risky? Is advanced parole too risky to get? I mean, is AP even available right now for DACA? That is a question I have. I'm not sure about that. I don't think AP is available for DACA. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, we can look into that and find out.
I don't think it is. I think I looked it up recently with one of our one of our DACA clients.
Right.
But I don't know.
Our associates here is well versed in DACA, and we can find out.
Yeah, but the question is it too risky to apply for advanced parole? Let's just say that you are eligible to do that and can get it. I mean, look, right now, because of DACA being sort of up in the air.
Yeah. Remember, everyone, they're not taking new DACA applications.
Yeah.
Right now.
It might be too risky to do that. A deportation in absentia.
Yeah.
As a minor. When did you get the DACA? So I'm gonna go into a lot of different things here, but one of the questions is, are you able to do consular processing? I'm not saying that you are. So please, if you're anyone who's listening, I'm not saying go do consular processing, right? But if you're married to a resident, maybe you don't have any unlawful presence that would require a waiver for you to get back in, right? That's a possibility. Another possibility is provisional waiver. So get that process started. The bottom line is there are some remedies for you. I don't know all of the extent of what they are, but off the top, I'm thinking, have you accrued unlawful presence as an adult? That would bar you from entering after an exit outside of the United States. Question number one. Question number two, is provisional waiver a possibility? So those are a couple of things. And then as far as the advanced parole, I don't know what the status is of advanced parole right now with DACA. And to answer your question, is it too risky? I would say, yeah, it is too risky because you have some other things that you could do, right? So all may not be lost. And it just depends on your travel history and everything else. So reach out to us and let us figure it out and help you. You can book a consultation with us and by calling our office at 757-464-9224. I'd love to get into the meat of this and find a way forward for you to become a lawful permanent resident of the United States. Now, so if I haven't heard it once, I've heard, what is the terminology?
If I've heard it once.
If I've heard it once. If I've heard it, my parents didn't use phrases like this.
I know.
What is it? If I've heard it once, I've heard it a bunch of times.
If I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times.
1,000 times, right. But our DACA clients, okay, folks like you, Belky, you're in this limbo. Yeah. And you probably, you came when you were a minor, maybe you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And you feel like you are 100% at least a permanent resident of the United States, right? And some of you may even, many of our clients feel like, I thought I was a citizen. Like nobody told me anything else until I had to go get my driver's license. I want to be all like my other teenage friends and go to the DMV and get my driver's license. And this is when I find out that whole family is not legal in the United States. So it's a major shock and sucker punch to many DACA applicants out there. And so we completely understand why you don't want this status. You want something more firm, right? Now you're married to a lawful permanent resident of the United States. And we get it because we've seen it. And we feel for all the DACA folks out there, the ones who have DACA, the ones who don't have DACA but could have gotten DACA. It's a really, really tough situation. John gives updates when there are updates about DACA. And it's from, I think, maybe 3 weeks ago. We're still status quo with it. And we're going to see what happens. But bottom line to Belky, I'm glad that you're looking at different options for your status and also asking the question of, is it too risky? Because some people don't ask that question and they just go and just do. But good for you.
Yeah, it's, I've said this before. I'm not trying to get on a soapbox here. Just DACA always ends up being it's a pretty non-controversial thing. And it always ends up becoming a chip in a larger immigration debate. And it could just be fixed so easily. Could be fixed today. Congress could do it right now.
Yep.
But it's a leverage point for everyone for a broader debate. Okay.
Sorry, I was smiling because Ms. Lakeisha has joined us. Hello. Hola. Good to see you.
Yeah. And Belky, if you want to give us a call and let us look into this for you, This goes along with Chris Dave's question, who was a couple down here. Next one up was, how much is a consultation? They want to adjust status through a U visa.
Okay, we can certainly help with that.
And we do all of these, so absolutely give us a call. A consultation is $295, and you can tell them a little bit more about how you conduct that consultation and what can happen there.
So our consultation is $295. We will hear your immigration story, your immigration history, parents, just kind of do a deep dive into your history and see how we can help you. We also have a more extensive, it's a strategy session. We charge $725 for a strategy session. This is where we review your documents. We often do this with employers who are wanting to petition for folks who are abroad or folks who are here who are in status. And when it goes a little bit beyond just hearing a person's story, where we have to do a little bit more of a deep dive. Both of these fees that you would pay to us for the consultation and the strategy session, we will credit your legal fees back. We'll credit them back to your legal fees if there is something that we can do for you and we can help you. So
it's a great investment. I mean, it's absolutely, I mean, this is important stuff and you want to make sure you get it right. So you really should have a professional. If you don't feel like you can hire a lawyer, that's one thing. I don't think that's true. But if you think that, and that's what you're sticking to, at the very least, you should consult with a professional immigration attorney to make sure you're setting off on the right foot, that you're not making any major errors that are going to cost you and be fatal to your case. Hopefully that'll be us. If it's not us, find somebody else that you're comfortable with.
Absolutely.
But please consult with a professional immigration attorney, not a traffic attorney who also happens to know a couple things about naturalization and maybe they can help you. They're not going to be able to help you. All right. They're not the right person. You need somebody who does immigration law all day, every day. That's their practice. Okay.
That's our practice.
That's not legal advice. That's my advice. And I hope that you will take it.
Yep. I mean, I can't tell you the countless number of times that I have gotten on the phone with someone or a Zoom consultation and something that was filed by a family member got messed up. And I mean, if you really want to look at it in terms of money, I have cases where a child could have immigrated to the United States 10 years sooner. Now that child is over the age of 21 because somebody messed up the petition and didn't finish the case. And let's just say 7 years was lost. And that's 7 years of this person being able to earn US income when they're coming from a third world country. Let's just say at a minimum, that's $20,000 a year. So 7 times 20 is $140,000. If you really want to put it in terms of money, it's not about money.
It's not about money.
Because that is the least important thing to people who talk to us and really want help. It's about their family. It's about disappointing their family. It's about not filing that petition and not following through and dropping the ball because they were too busy. It's about the heartache, the heartbreak, the separation. It's about mistrust. Like, why isn't this done yet? What happened? Oh, we messed up. We got to start again. It's not about, that's the last thing that it's about. So guys, when I tell you that every other consultation is a heartbreak for me, it really is. It's because of all these different factors. And it doesn't matter if it's our law firm that you talk to an immigration attorney that can help you with your case. Yes, you can file your case online. Yes, you can get a receipt. Yes. You do not need an attorney to file your immigration case. But we also don't need an accountant to file our taxes, but we would never file our taxes without an accountant. So don't be penny wise and pound foolish.
That's right. That's right. You got that one. Good job.
And try to save money. And then in the long run, waste $140,000 because your kid could have been here earning at least $20,000. So
Yeah, I mean, you want to have your family here, and you say you can't afford it because you've got a car payment on a Ford F-150 brand new. Well, that's your choice. If you think the truck's more important than getting your fiance or wife over here and your kids, then that's your decision. I think it's a terrible one.
All right, we're done.
Okay, we're done.
We're done. All right. Joe Cute says, I'm messing up his name. Or their name. Doesn't matter. Have not received. It does matter. I'm sorry. I wish I knew how to pronounce that. Can you put it in the comments phonetically, just for me, please? Thank you. Have not received my social security number and USCIS request for medical, and USCIS has received the medical. What is next? What is next is hopefully you get your green card in the mail. Yeah. Okay. Lakeisha says, we just had our biometrics appointment for adjustment of status, was wondering what happens next. So when you're going through the adjustment of status process, okay, generally the case is going to take about 20 months from filing, 16 to 20 months for filing, from the time of filing to the time that it's going to be approved. So after biometrics, the thing that's going to happen next is you will receive work authorization as well as permission to travel. And that is going to come at about the 10 to 12 month mark. And then closer to that 20 months, one of three things can happen in an adjustment of status case. And first thing that can happen, and most likely thing that can happen, is immigration, USCIS, is going to send us a request for evidence. And that request for evidence is most likely going to ask for, in a case of a marriage case, more bona fide marriage documentation to show that the couple is still together, the couple is still commingling finances and taking trips together. So we then send all the updated documentation to USCIS, and then after that, immigration can send the green card. Another thing that can happen, so one of three things, another thing that can happen is they call the couple in for an interview. So for my whole career, which is 25 or 6 years as an immigration attorney, the married couples have always been interviews. Well, let's subtract a couple years. And that changed a couple of years ago. And generally speaking, interviews are waived, but they can still call you in for an interview. Does not mean there's anything wrong with your case, but they can still call you in for an interview. So that's option 2. When you go in for your interview, and officer will go through the case, as well as we would then submit additional documentation of the marriage. And another thing that can happen, which is the best thing of all, is that you just get the green card in the mail. So, Lakeisha, hopefully that answers your question, as well as the timeline. As I mentioned, it's about 16 to 20 months for a family-based adjustment of status. In Norfolk, it is 20 months.
All right. Fingers crossed.
Lakeisha says, is there anything I should be doing during the long waiting period until he receives his green card? Trying to be proactive and prepared. Yes. If you are waiting for this 20-month period, right, then what you should be doing is collecting bona fide marriage documentation. So kind of diligently, and we know Lakeisha, I know she's going to do this, put it in a folder, put in an electronic folder, and just have this cache of documents to provide to USCIS in the event that there is a request for evidence. And just kick back, have a great time, enjoy the marriage, all that good stuff. I was gonna say have some babies, but I'm not gonna say that, but I was gonna say that.
Yeah. Okay. We good over there?
See, she's gonna start having babies. Look at that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
have
family advice.
We have 3 children.
She says, I will definitely start doing that, having babies. Awesome. And take pictures. That's right. All right. Let's grab another question.
Okay, Lizzie over here was wanting to know how long it is taking for a T visa. It's a victim visa
Yeah,
involving human
trafficking. Yeah, I don't know. We don't do a lot of T visas. We don't do T visas. And so I'm not sure what the processing time is for that. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Miss Evelina, hola. How are you? Great to see you. Miss Evelina wants to know, when is the next Citizenship Day? It is going to be in February. Birthday month.
Birthday month.
All right.
Radlyn's birthday.
It's not everyone's birthday month? Oh, okay. I thought
No.
it was.
No, some of us were born in other months.
Weird.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Aisha has a question.
I mean, you're in good company, though. There are a lot of famous February birthdays.
That's right. Like
Washington, Lincoln.
Abraham, yeah.
Got a couple right there. Those are the only two that come to my mind, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I was just like, all right. Aisha, hello. Any advice for someone who is about to file for marriage green card but found out they have a misdemeanor? We don't give advice on our live stream, but I will give you this advice. Hire an attorney.
Yeah.
Proceed with caution is also some advice. Be careful. What is the misdemeanor? Get your certified disposition. Don't file your green card without the help of an attorney.
Yeah, listen, this is for many years, I was involved in traffic and criminal defense work, and almost all of my clients were non-U.S. citizens, and somewhere along in the immigration process, and it was always our number one goal, my number one goal, to make sure that I was able to thread the needle, to make sure that whatever happened in that state court case or even a federal case did not damage their immigration case. That was the eye was always on that. And this really is a danger zone because there are many misdemeanors that can absolutely cause immigration problems. And you don't want to go down that road. You want to be very, very careful. It looks like in your case, the conviction already happens. The next question becomes, what are you going to do about it? And Radlyn's right. At the very, very least, you need to hire an attorney to look at it. Do not proceed without legal counsel.
Not just look at it, but file it for you.
Yeah,
and
or
be
not.
Or not.
Yeah.
That's true. Not to sound foreboding.
Yes,
Aisha.
I'm getting very animated. It's just that we've seen this. We have seen people with what they thought was a pretty minor criminal conviction, and then they decide that they're going to go ahead and apply for citizenship or something. And next thing they know, they're actually in removal proceedings.
Yeah.
Because they put themselves on the radar when they weren't before, and the conviction is a problem. It may be nothing. You may have absolutely nothing to worry about. It's kind of like going in to get a biopsy. Then you know. You know if it's cancer or not. You need to know if it's cancerous or not. All right?
Yep. Okay. Aisha says, okay, she's been married for 11 months now. Wanted to start our application, found out that I have a misdemeanor from 4 years ago. Okay. Who has the misdemeanor, though? The U.S. citizen? The beneficiary?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I don't know who's asking the question.
Been married for no. We wanted to start our application, found out that I have a Yeah, that's a good point. I was assuming that you were the one seeking the benefit, but maybe not.
Yep.
So that could be a whole different story. If it's your husband petitioning for you, for example, and he has a misdemeanor, then that changes the calculus.
What misdemeanor? It still matters what the misdemeanor is.
but it changes the calculus and the analysis for sure.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Fantastic. It's a really good question, though.
Yeah, I'm glad that came up, because anyone else listening to this that maybe has any criminal background, man, do not be pushing forward with your immigration if you've got a criminal background without consulting with us about it. Okay. You want to grab this one here? I got my I-130 approved a month ago. But the I-485 is still pending. It's marriage-based. What should I do?
You should wait. There's really nothing to do. you're in the United States, hopefully the next thing that's going to happen is you get work authorization, which is taking 12 months right now. The question is interesting because it says I got my I-130 approved a month ago, but the 485 is still pending. Oh, wait a minute. So maybe you went to an interview, the I-130 got approved, but they haven't yet proved the 485. So if that's what you're asking. So this is why we don't give legal advice.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know what you're talking about.
A snippet of info here, right?
But I will just say that there's really nothing to do. If you have your I-130 petition that was approved and you had a green card application interview and they're still waiting to approve that interview, waiting to approve the I-485, you're going to have to just wait until they do that. I will say that typically that's all done in one fell swoop, right? Unless you're talking about you filed your I-130 petition at some other point in time. So, but either way, it's been a month that you still have to wait a little bit. And I know you've already waited a long time, most likely. So it's just a little bit more waiting.
Okay. Hopi over here said, why wouldn't you help those who are already detained with immigration? We have no problem with people helping those who are detained with immigration. It just does not happen to be one of our practice areas.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody who is being detained and is perhaps in removal proceedings, still go ahead and reach out, because we have several attorneys throughout the country that we work with that do practice in those areas. And we would be absolutely happy to refer you to a good lawyer who can help you if that's the case. It's just one of the areas that we do not practice in right now.
We used to.
All right. Oh, and Aisha was over here. She jumped over to Facebook.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. We actually kind of prefer the questions on Facebook. They're a little bit easier for us to see. But
okay, I don't think I have any other questions here.
Was that? Did she have a follow-up there?
She is the one seeking the benefits.
Okay.
Aisha is the one seeking the benefits.
But she says, I didn't know about the misdemeanor till a couple weeks ago. So he's got the misdemeanor? I'm still confused.
Oh, she has it. I have a misdemeanor from 4 years ago. Okay, so it's already conviction.
Yeah. All right. Well, it depends on what it is. And give us a call. You should absolutely reach out to us. I will expect to hear from you this afternoon. All right, it's 1:45 here on the East Coast.
She's calling right now. Hello,
I don't know
Aisha?
where you are, but we're done here at 1 o'clock, and I'll grab my phone and be waiting. Okay. Bye 103 says, I applied for the I-130 National Visa Center, marriage-based with a U.S. citizen. Timeline shows 54 months, right?
It's kind of an odd question. So applied, all right, filed the I-130 petition, and the National Visa Center, the I-130 petition, it depends on how long it's going to take. It depends on what service center it goes to. So it can take that long of a time. But you file the I-130 at the USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. You do not file it with the National Visa Center. So I'm not sure if that's what that by meant, but if you filed it at the NVC, you would have gotten it kicked back to you because that's the wrong place to file it. But it's probably not what you mean. It can take a pretty long time to get that I-130 petition approved. Once the I-130 petition is approved, it then goes to the National Visa Center. If your family member is outside of the United States, and that transfer of your case and your file to the National Visa Center from USCIS can take 60, 90 days. Once it's at the National Visa Center, you have to do a lot of work there, upload all of your documents, complete your DS-260, pay the $445 National Visa Center fee bill, and then wait until NVC says, okay, we have everything that we need now. It's we have all of the documentation. You're documentarily qualified. Documentarily is not a real word, but anyway, DQ'd. You're DQ'd, and then you have to sit there at the NVC and wait for an interview to open up at the U.S. Embassy in the country of your relative. So if your relative is in the Philippines, for example, then there's a possibility that you can be waiting for an interview for over a year. And that's very common as well. Those waiting period times, Ciudad Juarez in Mexico, forever. Not forever, but a long time. So we all have to exercise patience now. Because of these visa interview backlogs, these times that we've seen, it take 2 years, it can take 3, 4, 5 years, depending on when an interview can be scheduled. So
Okay. And just a couple things while you're digesting that. There's another question here about being approved for a T visa. And you may have missed the earlier question. That also is a particular visa that we don't work with. And
Yeah.
so we're not going to be able to provide any information on that. And Creative 18 said that we froze in the middle of answering the question. Sorry about that, Creative 18. I don't know if that was on our end or yours, but you had asked whether or not you could surprise your aunt by applying for a tourist visa for her as a surprise. And the answer was that she would have to apply for that tourist visa, not you doing it on her behalf. Maybe you could pay for it as the surprise.
Yep. And you can come over to our Facebook at Gardner Mendoza Law if you want to check out what we said in full. But pretty much that's what we said. And in the comments, we'll show where your question is if you want to go to the exact place. So, all right. Let's see here. Anne, A-N-N-E. I'm spelling it out just because it's relevant. I have a question. I have received a letter for my interview, and it is saying that I need to bring any evidence of selective service registration with me to the interview. What do I do? So Anne later goes on to say, I rechecked my application and I did nothing wrong filling it out. So Anne, A-N-N-E, Anne, I'm going to assume that Anne is a woman and also applying for U.S. citizenship, filing the N-400, because that is a question on the N-400, whether you registered for selective service. It could just be an error, Anne. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Unless there's been, a change in your sexual, is it orientation? Is that the correct sexual orientation? And maybe you were a male at some point in time. And anyway, but if that is not the case, then you are probably good. Or even if it is the case, you would have to work that out with the officer. It's not something that's going to prevent the officer from approving your case. And I'm really just digging into something that probably doesn't need to be dug into, since those facts were not present. But yeah. I'm just trying to cover all the bases. As Anne, A-N-N-E.
Probably an error.
Probably an error. So don't worry about it too much.
All right, Stephen Baby Cake over here says he's been watching us and he wants to know if he really needs to get a lawyer for a divorce. I
don't know, Stephen.
We don't do a family law. We are an immigration law firm.
I would get a lawyer
unless you mean in some immigration context. Perhaps there's something going on here with immigration, and you think whether you have a lawyer for the divorce will matter. But Radlyn is right. I mean, just even as immigration attorneys, yes, if you're getting a divorce, you should have a lawyer. It's up to you, which is why I said I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, people do. I don't recommend that anyone do any legal work that lawyers are trained and hired to do.
Yeah, you have assets, you may have children, custody issues, visitation issues. I would certainly think that you would want to have an attorney helping you with that.
Right. And for those of you who got your green card through marriage and you're going through a divorce, okay, one of the things that I really want you to be aware of is when you're doing your separation agreement or anything with your divorce, you should you should make sure that the date of separation is the real date of separation. So it doesn't impact future filings when, maybe you're filing for an I-751 to remove your conditions and you're using a waiver because you're now divorced. All of that needs to line up. If you were separated on a certain date and that was the actual day of separation, that needs to be the day of separation. You can't have a different day of separation on your immigration applications. That's something that I've seen, and it can cause massive delays in your case.
All right, Marie says, I need help with VAWA and removal order. Let me give you some help. Our phone number is 757-464-9224. I apologize. We did not give our contact information out. I guess after our 3-week break, we were slightly rusty. We forgot about where you can email us info@gmlaw.net. And for those of you on TikTok, again, that number is 757-464-9224.
All right. So Michael has a long question here. Oh, you know what I haven't been doing? I haven't been putting the question on the screen.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Because we're rusty. It's been 3 weeks. All right. Mother-in-law has B2 visa. Did an extension. Her I-94 had her as arrived November 8th. I submitted her plane tickets for November 2nd to USCIS as evidence. They approved her till November 1st. Any idea how to get them to fix the dates? I have called and asked for tier 2 to call. They refused to call. I currently have a call into the ombudsman asking for help. Other than tier 2, I don't know how to get an appointment for local tier 3 agent. What do you recommend? I can't afford. All right. Mother-in-law has a B2 visa. Did an extension. Her I-94 had her as arrived November. Oh, I see. They made a mistake. November 8th. Submitted her plane ticket for November 2nd. They approved her until. That's so weird. So they made an error. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. I guess you were asking for an extension until May. It sounds like you're doing everything right, Michael. One last thing that I would recommend to you is to reach out to your congressional liaison and your local congressperson who will serve as a liaison between you and USCIS, and have them reach out to USCIS for you. They clearly have made an error here. So yes, you do need it to get fixed. And Michael, it's your mother-in-law. Question I have, is your wife a U.S. citizen? Because if your wife is a U.S. citizen, they can potentially, your spouse can potentially petition for their mom, even on a B1, B2. Oh, she's been here for 1 year already. That's probably why they probably do not want to extend it. So let's go back to the other question. Is your spouse, and I said wife because it looks like wife. Wife is an ROC. Is it time for wife to apply for U.S. citizenship? What's the game plan here? Do you want mother-in-law to stay? Does she want mother-in-law to stay? Give us a call. We'll help you sort it out. All right.
Yeah, definitely need to give us a call. Very quickly, I wanted to this is a comment here on TikTok. Gopi said, props to the guy a few months ago saying the government is not going to shut down. Thanks. That was me.
That was the guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah. I remember talking about that at dinner time. John and I are married, by the way. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Radlyn Mendoza.
John Gardner. We've been married for 25 years.
Yeah, just celebrated number 25.
Yeah. So if you think that our demeanor together is a little
Chummy.
for law partners, it's because we're married as well.
It's
That's right. And it was a bit ago that we were
like a month ago.
We were on the edge of a government shutdown, and I boldly said, there'll be no government shutdown.
Boldly went where no one else would go.
They always strike some 11th hour deal. Although in this case, the 11th hour deal was just to extend it 45 days. So we still could have danger ahead, but I don't think so.
Yeah. Just file your petitions and your applications, guys.
Yeah.
And also, for those who have not filed for U.S. citizenship and you are eligible to file for citizenship and you're otherwise eligible under every single category, including criminal categories and not voting and register, please go file your N-400s. Please go become a U.S. citizen.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
is the time. They're really trying to process these quickly. We've had clients get adjudicated in 90 days.
Yep.
Imagine what it would be like to be a U.S. citizen and not have to worry about renewing your 10-year green card, not have to worry about, am I going to get deported from this country? Not have to worry about, oh my gosh, I filed a petition for my child and they're unmarried, but now they want to get married and now the petition will be lost. So there are a lot of benefits.
Traveling with the U.S. passport is always a great thing.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. Michael, we answered Michael's. Lang says, if USCIS says 1 week before case decision for a petition will not mean approval, what will be the next step? I'm not sure what. Okay, so we're maybe talking about an I-130 petition. Why are we worried that a petition won't get approved?
Yeah.
I mean, petitions, I'm not going to say usually get approved, but our petitions normally get approved. Like, I never worry about a petition not getting approved here because when we file a petition, we know our client is eligible for the benefit.
Yeah,
submitted all the documents that are required to show that they are eligible for the benefit. Mm-hmm. I mean, if your petition doesn't get approved and you think it's wrongly approved, then you can appeal that to the Board of Immigration Appeals if we're talking about an I-130 petition. But just wait the 1 week and see. Len, can you come back and tell us if your petition was approved or not? I bet you it's going to get approved. Hopefully it will. All right.
Evelyn over here, want to know, how do I apply for citizenship if I don't have my travel records that I made by land?
So if you don't have your travel records that are made by land, you should definitely make the best estimate. I mean, I wouldn't let it hold you back unless you think you've been outside of the United States more than you've been in the United States. I hope that makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't. So if it's super excessive travel and, oh my gosh, you're on the borderline of not being eligible because you didn't meet the residence requirements here in the United States, then yes, I would be concerned about it. But if you have traveled a handful of times and you have best guesstimates, I would put that on the application and I'm giving some advice here. This is not advice, but this is what I might do. I would maybe put it on the application, maybe depending, and also noting that it is an estimate, but not advice. It's what I would do under very specific circumstances. Okay. I'm not sure I understand Soleil's question. Can the green card holder travel to his home country where he prosecuted? Maybe persecuted?
There was. I don't know if it's the same. It's the same question was over here. Slightly different name, but it could be the same person using two different names. One for TikTok, but yeah, based on.
I see. Yeah, Soleil. I would talk to your immigration attorney who helped you with your asylum, and ask that specific question to them. Because we really need to.
Oh, I think, we're getting to the question. I see. The asylum is based on fear of persecution in your home country. And the concern is, can I go back to my home country and then come back? Or are they going to say, well, I thought you were afraid to go to your country because of fear of persecution. If you were afraid of persecution in your home country, then why did you just travel there? Okay.
I mean, have there been changed circumstances?
Right.
It could potentially also impact an N-400 application that you might file. And I remember we don't do tons of asylum cases. We do some, but not tons.
Yeah.
But I remember going into an interview at the Norfolk Immigration Office, and there was another attorney there, and she was representing her client, and she was totally, completely frazzled because they pulled up her client's asylum application and said that they feared going back to their country, and then saw all this travel on the N-400 going back to the country, and made a huge, I don't know what ultimately happened there, but it can be a problem.
You said exactly. So that's exactly what his concern is.
Yeah. I would go back. I would definitely talk to your immigration attorney about that and whatever. Now, I will say, if you're a client with us and you have a question like this, we do not charge for a consultation. All of our clients have the benefit of having free, I'm not going to say lifetime because, but free consultations with us after their case is over and done. And these are the types of cases where we just pull it up and look at the file and answer the question. So even if you have to pay your former attorney to talk to you, I would do that.
Okay. And this one you already addressed, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we had a question here about text message. How do we get our text messages translated? Do we pick and choose what gets translated? And it looks like they're doing some sort of a fiance visa.
Yeah.
And so probably wanted to show the communication back and forth. What about translating?
We get text messages translated all the time. Long pages of translated texts. Lots of lovey-dovey messages. Make sure they're rated PG.
Evelyn says, thank you to you for answering her question.
So welcome.
All right.
Okay, I don't have any questions here. We have a couple more minutes for a couple more questions.
Okay, well, Maricon here says, I don't know why my naturalization application is taking so long. I filed last 2022 in September.
Maricon is my sister's name.
It is indeed.
Bet you they're from the Philippines. Okay. It really depends on what city you're in, and you're probably frustrated to hear that cases that are getting filed now are getting processed in 90, 120 days. Sometimes that's just the way the ball rolls, but it's not surprising to me that your case is taking over a year now. It just depends on where you filed it and what the processing times are for that. I think they're trying to generally improve the processing times. If your case is outside of processing times, then you can make an inquiry with USCIS if you haven't already. So definitely do that. If they don't do anything after you make that inquiry, there's no response, then you should go to your congressperson and say, hey, help me out here. Please poke the bear because I need to become a US citizen. Those are the next steps. And also, if you guys have not yet joined our Live Love Immigration group, how to make a congressional inquiry is pinned at the top. Live Love Immigration. We'd be happy to see you there.
Okay, let's see. We got bumped around here. I think I may have some of my questions.
One more question is 1 p.m.
Okay. Well, Carmela wants to know
family members' names.
Another family member's name.
Yeah.
Says,
I think John's just choosing them from family members' names. Are you doing that?
I would never be biased like that. Got Maricon, Carmela, and then Merrick will be next if we have time for one more. I'm a J1 visa and my boyfriend is a US citizen. What is the first step to fix my visa? Thanks.
So are you subject to the 212E residency requirement? Number one. Number two, are you and your boyfriend planning on getting married? Number three, give us a call. We'd be happy to help. 757-464-9224. Even if you are subject to the residency requirement, give us a call.
Okay. And can we take one more? I just want to get to this guy because I appreciate what he's doing here.
Okay.
Dreaming in Puerto Rico. He says, I just joined the military. How soon can my father apply for parole?
Now. right now. Let us help you with parole in place.
Yeah.
It is one of our specialty areas. Are we
Yeah.
allowed to say specialty area in the
Yeah.
law? It is one of our specialty practice
Absolutely.
areas. We are in a military town. We love
Right.
parole in place. They are taking a long time, so now is the time. Congrats on joining the military.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for your service dreaming in Puerto Rico. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Give us a call, 757-464-9224.
He's dreaming in Puerto Rico. He's not Puerto Rican.
I don't think so.
Because if he were Puerto
Rico.
Rican, then we wouldn't be having this
Exactly.
conversation.
Indeed.
All right.
That's why she's smart. Okay. 2 thumbs up, everyone.
2 thumbs up. That was awesome.
It was so great to be back.
Great to be back.
See you next Friday, okay?
All right.
Same time, same place.
Bye,
You got
guys.
questions?
Guys, like and follow. Like
We
and
got
follow.
the
You know what to
answers.
do. All right.
Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you so much.